Hello there, and this is another session here with Chris and with UD-11. Today we're going to do a couple of things, but in this video we are limiting ourselves only to editing the frames. So the project then in this video is to refurbish, edit this panel here, which is on page 3. This is the first row, and this is panel 2. So the first row is row A. So I would call this A2. So it's panel A2 on page 3. So it's already done in the old version. So now we have to redo it and fix it up to a more nice standard. And before we begin, I'm going to just do this as I usually do. This is the UD-11 Unlimited Danger Season 1 Episode 1, called 987 Degrees Centigrade. So this is the science fiction action thriller adventure in which Barry Riley, an arrogant space captain, is thrown into a whole bunch of exciting adventures. So here will be lots of action, lots of speed, lots of conflict, lots of heat, and lots of spaceships and chases and on and on. So I hope this will be a nice product for you to read when it's finished. So this is a printed comic book album. It's not on the web or anything like that. So this is a traditional printed comic book album, and but we have to wait a while until I'm mounting all the rows. So we're talking about 40 pages in full color and nice printing. Okay, so let's return to this video. And so what we're going to do in this video, as I said, we're going to do a refurbishing of panel A2 here, and specifically we're going to do the frame and make this nicer, and we're going to fix the balloon so it's also going to be nicer. So those two things are that's the objective for this video. So let's start by scanning. We have to scan everything first, because this is one of the hallmarks of this UD-11 album. Everything is drawn and lettered on paper. So I have to scan in all artwork, and then I can mount it in Photoshop. So I'm using my Canon scanner here, and I'm just simply scanning. Alright, I'm increasing the scale, Control plus a little to see what we have, and I'm using Control Shift period to flip 90 degrees clockwise. And I've already selected the one I want by the red dot here, and you can see that this was done quite a while ago, October. So it's almost exactly a month ago. So it's my backlog is piling up here. And you can see here also that I'm always keeping the notes here. Which pen did I use? I used a Lamy medium. That's what I did. So I always remember that I can see clearly that it's the right version. That's the one I want also. So, and of course a full definition of which panel it actually is, because if you have 558 panels to scan and to keep track of and to archive, you must simply have this, so you can keep track of everything and file it nicely and scan it, scan the right frame, not simply any frame. Alright, so this is scanned, and let's save it. So I'm saving everything in my, oh, now it's back. Oh, okay, I can't show you this really. Okay, I'm going to show you later. But let's just cancel and decrease in size here instead. I think that's, and then I can show the dialogue here. Right, so we have the, so I'm on page 3. I'm in the finished panels folder here, and I'm page 3, and I'm panel A2. And what I want to do now is I want to save my scan in the scan sheets folder. And I already have an old one there. Okay, so I just used that name as a start, and then I just modified it a little bit. So my system is simple that anything with an A here is a frame, is a panel frame. All right, like that, frames, because we have 2. All right, let's save that. And now what I do is simply I have a quick command here, Shift F2, where I quickly do a contrast and brightness to my standardized setting. So I don't go into levels and all that. It takes too long time, and this is much quicker way with equal or comparable quality, at least. Right, good enough quality for anything. So that we save that, and now we scan the balloons also. Okay, let's do it again. Import Canon scanner, scan. Alright, we flip it, or rotate it. We rotate it 90 degrees, and we save it. And we already have the right scan sheets folder because we did it. And now we can take this, it doesn't matter what it is, because we want a B for balloon. Okay, so all the B's are balloons. Balloons, okay, and that's the new one. And another F2 to create the optimal brightness contrast. And now we can, like that. So now we have these ready to be cut out and pasted. But where should we paste them? Well, we should paste them into a new document. So let's see if I can find that. So what we want is an adjusting file here, adjusting the frames. That's the so I'm going to make a copy here from my repository, and I'm renaming it to page 3 panel A2, and adjusting the frames, and that includes the balloons also. Okay, so I get my standardized, our standard look. Okay, and then I've already selected by the red dot here. I already selected this. This is the one I want. I copy with as much or as little white space as possible, because I want to minimize my vacuuming, and then Control C to copy, and Control V to paste. But before we paste, our project is to first paste the original copy here and rename it frame with its identifier, which is an A. I think it was an A. It's frame A. Okay, and then remove the old one there. Okay, so we have to push the V button for move tool and then delete. Okay, so now we have that one. And let's do that the same for the balloons also. And here we see we have already selected the B, the berry balloon, or Brenda balloon. Alright, so I'll just paste that. So the balloon is B. Okay, and then we remove the old one there, or the template one. V for the move tool, and then delete button and save. Okay. So now we can see what we have. I'm keeping Alt key down, clicking on the visibility here. So we see that we have a frame, Alt key, click, and we do the same thing for balloon B here, Alt key, click, and we see that we have the balloon. And now we can increase the scale a little bit, and now we should make a copy here up to where we're going to do the adjustment. So I'm keeping Alt down now, and then I'm dragging up the frame into the adjusted frame folder. Similarly, I'm selecting the balloon B and I'm keeping Alt down and I'm dragging up a copy to the adjusted balloon. Okay, and then we just do this modified here compared to the unmodified one. And then we can specify later exactly what we're doing. So the project here then is to make everything really horizontal and really vertical. That's one of the things. And another thing is to retouch any big problematic areas that if I spilled some ink somewhere or the corner wasn't perfectly even or anything that should be retouched, we can do that. And then the third thing is that we're going to vacuum as usual. So before we import these into the final panel, we want to have them as clean as possible. Okay. So we start with the frame. Let's start with the frame and adjust that. And we're just going to so we see everything here. And this red grid is, I've made this to be able to make everything really horizontal and really vertical. And one of the features of this red grid is that its height from this line down to this line is exactly the height that the frame should have been written or drawn in. So the idea is that if I now move this one down so that this line comes in the middle there, it should line up perfectly with so the black line should line up perfectly with the center portion of the red line, which it does. It's pretty good actually. So this is, and now I can select this, I call it the row channel. And I've selected it and I'm having the move tool and I'm now moving the right one, the right vertical portion to the end, so to speak, And I'm doing the same for the left one. And this will give me a good indication of what's needed to adjust. So one of my rules in this, when I'm designing this, is that the panel lines, the black line here. Okay, I can show this in bigger scale, perhaps. Okay, so my rule is that the black line must always be inside the row channel. So the black line must never cross this red line or this line. And another requirement is also that it's not too wavy. So it should be straight enough, but a little waviness is okay, but not too much, not too quick. So the ripples should have a long amplitude, not amplitude, but from like a frequency. So they shouldn't be quick; they should be very slow. So having said this, we can see here that the lower line here looks all right. There maybe we should do something there, but it's not entirely bad, and the top line is all right. Maybe we should do a little editing there, but the real object of attention here is this left line, which is just too much. So I propose we have to change it. So how do we do that? Well, we can do this in several ways, but I think the easiest one is simply to go to the frame, we copy this portion here, paste it as a new layer, and we make it 50% opaque by hitting F7. And now we zoom in a little bit here. So maybe we can do like this. Okay, so let's go down and we'll V for a move tool. We want it there. So let's see, F8 full opacity. Okay. Something like that. And then we can take a new one from here. So we make another copy. Okay. So now I take another copy. And this one we have to actually rotate. get it to behave. Well, not that much, of course, but okay, so let's zoom out by Control minus. Okay, so let's and we should also remember here now that I'm working in a much bigger scale than when I'm going to mount it in the finished panel. So even though I'm rotating and making it a little perhaps less sharp, this is alright. I say it's alright. You can do a sharpening if you want, but from my experience, you can't tell it when it's finished, when it's downscaled and mounted in the final panel. Okay, so that's something like that. Let's see. Okay, so we have that, and we have a little like that. So it's a little wavy, but maybe it's too much, I don't know. I think we'll take something like that. Let's commit there. It's too much, I think. And let's take that down a notch there also in the background. Okay, so, and now let's merge these three here into a new one by Control-Alt-E and hide those. Sorry about that. And now we made a mistake because we didn't restore the full opacity. So let's look at those again here. 100%. 100%. Oh, I did. Oh, okay. It's actually, I did it. Oh, well. It looks a little gray because I'm having these. So when I remove the road channel guides, then it gets blacker. So because they are on top and they have 50% opacity there. So okay, so is this a acceptable layout? Okay, so maybe we can zoom in here, Z on the keyboard and drawing the rect, and then we can do a little fixing here of maybe we can lift this up here. Let's lift this up. From here. So Control C, Control V, and then immediately V to get the move tool. Oh no, I made a mistake. Control Z. I have to select, have the selection on the right layer there. Okay. So copy, paste, V for the move tool, and we're lifting it up one notch, and then I'm doing the same thing again on the new layer now, and I'm lifting this up as well. Copy, paste, V tool, and right arrow and up arrow. So, okay, so a little more straight, and that's it. And now we are taking these 3 layers and Control Alt E to merge them into a new layer. So this is our new frame. Okay, new frame. Should be reasonable. Maybe there's a corner up there also. Okay, Z key and erect, and let's just fix this with the brush here. Pencil, okay. And I have the white. I'm pressing X on the keyboard to switch to white, and I'm just fixing a little bit here. Have a little imperfection there. Okay, so it's okay. I think this is pretty good. Maybe. And we can fix this down there also. So Z on the keyboard, and then we do the pencil tool, and we just make something like that. Maybe a little roundish corner there. Something like, okay, good. So I think that basically is it. We now have a decent frame, and so let's remove those, and now we are going hunting for imperfections, or not for, well, imperfections, but dust particles, and so we're vacuuming. And as I usually do, I'm using the hand tool, so we're pressing the H on the keyboard to keep us moving a little bit, so we can see when we can see the dust particles better. We have one there also. There. I think we have some there. Hand tool, wait, H. And we're zooming out, Control minus, Control plus. And what can we see anymore? I think that looks pretty good. Okay, here's one. There's always another one. Right there. And there's one there also. think that's good enough. Unless there's something down there, just let's take 50 here or something. I think I saw something here. Oh, it's on my screen. Okay, so it's not. Okay, good. Save. So now we have the adjusted frame, and now let's continue with the adjusted balloon. Okay, so we hide that one for now, and we go back to the straight stuff, and V for move tool, and then I'm using shift up arrow to see how horizontal or not this one is. And I think it should be lifted up on the right part. So I'm doing this now. Let's see if we can have bigger scale, perhaps. Okay, so I see it more clearly. But here it doesn't show like that. So, so maybe it was an illusion. There's a little strangeness there, but yeah, a little up we can do it on this side here. I think that's. And what happens now if we move it up? I think that's decent. Okay. So you may want to argue that this is too much here, and I'm almost prepared to agree. So let's fix it up a little. Maybe 2 notches or something would be appropriate. Let's just lift it up. Where are some good points to lift it up? Probably here. Okay, so copy, paste, V for move tool, and then I just up arrow there. That's one. And then I merge these two together by Alt Control E, and I hide them, so I'm only working with one. And then we are let's look at how this. Okay, so what we could do is maybe we can take this point here, and we could do this one. Or maybe, no, okay, so let's do this. Let's go up here. Okay, I think that's good. So copy, paste, the V tool for move, up arrow 1, and then we have our new line there, and we merge it with layer 5 there, layer 5 merged, plus layer 6. So Control Alt E for the new one. There we have our new line, and now we can just perhaps remove a little down here to get it get it more smooth. So let's brush. I have white on my brush, and I want a pretty small brush, 5 perhaps, and I'm just going to quickly remove some of this, something like that, so we can. Alright, so now zoom out, and I think we got the better balloon. But it's still a little wavy, but that's alright, because we want to have the natural touch. We want to have the non-computer generated touch. Right, so now let's just remove these grids or the guides, and it's time to, first we're going to cut it out here to remove as much white we can, so we don't have to vacuum everything. Less to worry about. And then we can take, and then we have the hand tool, and we immediately see that there's a point there and one there, and let's go up to our brushes again and select our pencil tool first, and then we can well, just enter 50 here, so, and we can click here and we click there. And I don't see anything else here. Oh, here's something else. Down there, maybe there. Alright, so good. And now we just a little increased scale and do it again to just, okay, we get one there. A little here. Ah, there's one. And there's one as well. Oh, there are a couple of small ones there. Okay, good. Especially inside here, because the text will come here, so we're clicking the dots away. Okay, scrolling down here. Okay, pretty good. Okay, so we have, and we can, so this is vacuumed. And this is also vacuumed. Good. Alright, so now everything seems to be in order for us to proceed to the frame. So in order to be able to quit this document, we're now going to duplicate it into our final destination, which is the finished panel 2, A2. So we're just going to I'm going to create 2 new folders here. One called frame and one called balloon. And I'm just going to rename this as old and old for now. Okay, so I want the frame, so I'm putting my selection here in the destination document here, finished panel, and in the source document I can even put this above here, so it's from this document to the destination document here. So this is a source document, and I want my new frame, and I want my new balloon. So let's copy, and I'm showing this solo now by Alt, keeping Alt down, clicking on the visibility here, and Control minus, so that I can now click, or I can press M for marquee tool on the keyboard, and then I'm just copying the frame, and I'm clicking on the destination, and I'm pasting here inside. When I have the folder selected, the frame folder selected, then when I copy, or when I paste, having that selected, it will automatically end up inside the folder. Okay, and then I go back to the source document here, which is the adjusting the frames, and I'm now just simply selecting layer 6, which is the adjusted balloon, the vacuumed adjusted balloon, and I am using the marquee tool again and copying and going to the destination, selecting the balloon folder, and Control V on the keyboard to paste. So I'm naming it frame from adjusting frames and not downscaled. Right. And the same here. I say balloon here. And then the same text here. And then we duplicate this one and rename it. So we want to downscale it and we want to move it. But we won't do that now, but we are preparing ourselves here. Okay, so just copy this text here. So that's our project for another video coming up. Okay, good. So we have the balloon inside our document. I'm saving it, and I'm now closing it, saving, closing, and we're finished with that document. All right. So this was a video about the creation and the editing of the contents of 900 87 degrees centigrade, which is the upcoming title in the series of Unlimited Danger Season 1. So I'm hoping that this was an education and that you have had a good time watching this video. And if you have any questions or comments or suggestions or anything, you can just leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.